Jambo mambo familia angu, mimi ni Eli-Ben-Eli. Karibu karibu karibu. Welcome to another fireside chat with Babu Eli. I wanted to take an opportunity to say something. I looked at Twins Hangout Kenya, and they did a remarkable story about a preacher that came from some state in the United States, and he came and he was teaching Bible class, ended up having an affair with an African girl, and married her, but at the time it was unknown that he had a wife back in the United States. Folks, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please take an opportunity to like and subscribe. Ultimately, what happened was that he gave the girl an injection, causing her to lose the baby, and then he took her on a long drive and attempted to murder her, attempted to cut her throat. A motorcycle Bora Bora rider was behind them, saw what was going on, interrupted him while he was trying to cut the woman's throat, and he was charged. But apparently he had a trial before the court, and even though the girl lived, even though there was a witness to what happened, the court decided that there was insufficient evidence, and this man ended up going back to America. Didn't have to go to prison or anything. Why am I saying this story? I'm saying this story for the simple reason that there is a consequence to blindly worshiping Westerners and people from rich countries and assuming that they're all that. Some of those people are just evil people. They come to Africa to take advantage of people, but there's a overriding issue to this whole thing that I wanted to comment on, and that is, in China they have I don't know whether they still have it, but there was a time when they used to have a saying that went, don't break another man's rice bowl or another person's rice bowl. How a person eats is how a person eats. But the reason that I'm saying that is, I'm not trying to break anybody's rice bowl. But I do commend the Moran and Maureen, these two young women, whose channel is called the Twin Hangouts Kenya, because it's like, first of all, they disprove the belief that a channel has to focus on a narrow subject, namely what's going on in Yabohanset, to be successful. Their channel is successful, and Africa right now is facing a lot of very, very serious issues. Okay, and there's something that I love about that channel is very, very refreshing to see a channel of Africans, Kenyans, that are talking about issues that really matter. Okay, and again, I'm not trying to break anybody's rice bowl. If all that a person wants to talk about is Mara, Nyabohanset, and all of that foolishness that goes on in that village and everything, my attitude is, have at it. I could care less. I mean, Dimwango, Mara, Rocio, Davy Jr., Yugono, all of those people are very, very interesting, but at the end of the day, there are other things going on in Africa that need to be talked about. I was gonna dwell for a period of time on the topic of Mara becoming a father and everything, And I, during the month of the week of Passover, I thought about that, and I thought, will I go ahead and make that a topic of conversation? Because I had some things to say, and they were kind of cynical. And upon further reflection, my attitude is this: the easiest thing in the world would be for me to talk about Rocio, talk about Marwa, talk about their baby, make comments about that. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna do that. This is a difficult world. Life is a difficult thing, and if Marwa and this woman are gonna have children and everything, more power to them. It's like. And as far as Rocio and her comments about hating, of not liking black people is concerned, I look at it like this: better an enemy that tells you that they're your enemy, better an enemy that it doesn't lie, than one who pretends to be a friend and is in fact your enemy. So as far as I'm concerned, kudos to Moran and Maureen for bringing stuff to our attention as black people, not only black people in Africa, but black people around the world. Things that we need to know, okay, things that we need to be paying attention to. Because, at the end of the day, when history looks back at this era, nobody's gonna give a good screw about all of the crap that happened in Yabo Hanset, but they are gonna care about the politics of why a Westerner can come to Africa and attempt to commit a murder in front of witnesses and get away with it. Some of the other issues that Marin and Maureen deal with are very, very interesting, and a person has to pay a lot of attention to that kind of thing. One of the things that A.M. Carroll mentioned that I think is incredibly important, is the historic floods that are being faced by the nation of Kenya. People are dying. I think she mentioned a figure that was close to 200,000 people who have been displaced, because of the floods and the storms that are going on. That's an incredible story, and I would like to hear more about that. I mean, I would like to hear more about what's going on throughout Africa, not just in Kenya. So, kudos to the twins. They're doing a remarkable job in bringing information to our attention. And the thing that's really fascinating about it is they have a pretty good channel. They have a channel that's bigger than most of the channels that reactors have. And what does that tell you? It tells you that maybe, just maybe, people need to expand their horizons, and quit being so myopic, quit being so focused on just, one subject, because at the end of the day, the world is gonna go on spinning around you, whether you choose to ignore it or not, and to me, I'm coming to the realization that some of the time, the way that YouTube works is it distracts people from paying attention to the things that really, really, really matter. And they keep you focused on nonsense, because if you became attentive to what's going on in your world that really matters, you might want to do something about it. You might want to change it. You might want to raise your voice and complain about it. But it's like they say that before the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette is supposed to have said, when she was told that the peasants and the poor people of France were starving, she said something to the effect of, let them eat cake. I think that's the mentality of a lot of channels. It's like, the world is, right now the Middle East is tearing itself to, the Middle East is being torn to pieces by a nation with the support of America. And nobody seems to care about that. There are problems going on in Africa. There are nations that are at war. In the Sudan, there are people that are... Nobody comments about that. At the end of the day, who gives a darn what one individual does? It's a lot more important to know what is affecting, an entire continent. But nobody seems to be paying any attention to that. I thought that the story that the twins did about Muammar Gaddafi was incredibly important. Somebody like Wood in My Ear talks about the need for open borders and trying to create one Africa. Well, Muammar Gaddafi attempted to do that in no less a figure than the great Barack Obama, a man that I greatly admire, destabilized the Middle East, which led to the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi. And Muammar Gaddafi was advocating for something that he called the Second USA, the United States of Africa. I would love to hear what people think about that. I would love to hear people talk about that. Anyway, I'm facing a lot of problems, and maybe some of those problems are about to be resolved, but the devil is busy. I ask for your prayers, and it's like, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. In the meantime, if you have watched a video this long, Asante Asana, and keep Babu Eli in prayer, and until the next time, quiety.